I was door knocking. Hot, cold, raining, storming. I was getting kicked out of the buildings. I was getting chased by building managers.
Mate, you've been #1 real estate agent in Rosebery for the last 10 years.
It's unreal. It took me quite a while to get there. It's been a good ride. Took a massive pay cut. 2-minute noodles at times for dinner. And I wanted to quit a few times. Just lucky I had the support of my wife. She just said, if this is what you want to do, I believe in you, give it a go.
What was the step that you decide, I'm gonna become a #1?
I door knocked every single day for 3-4 years. So I made a decision, if nobody else wants to do the apartments, I'm gonna fucking do it. In 2015, I've got an email from them saying you've been voted as #1 agent in Rosebery.
It's a great achievement becoming a #1. It's a crazy achievement stay #1.
I wanted to ensure it's not just the first time, I'm going to get it every single year. And I had.
Wow.
But I love it. I'm very competitive. That's what drives me.
There is a lot of consistency and a lot of discipline.
Because you can't compare your level 1 to someone's level 10.
Connection. Not just people work with you, but even with the clients.
You've got to be comfortable with uncomfortable. And you just got to take a few steps back in order to go one step forward.
Or a podcast interview. Max Klimenko.
Hello, mate.
Thank you so much for coming in, mate.
My pleasure. Good to be here, Perry.
Mate, 18 years in real estate.
Gee, you make me sound really old. Yes, mate. 18 years in the game now.
You know the song, 18 years, 18 years. We're going to put that song. You know the song?
No, I don't know the song, but I'm sure you're going to put it on.
Yeah? Who's that? Kanye West.
Yeah. No, it's good to be here, mate. How you been?
Mate, good. Thank you. Good. Thank you for coming in. Mate, you've been #1 real estate agent in Rosebery for the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's unreal. I have been actually. It's took me quite a while to get there, but it's been a good ride. It's been a challenge. It's been a good ride, and now the biggest thing is maintaining that position. Right? It's hard to get there, but it's even harder maintaining that position.
I agree. Right. So since 2015, #1 in that area. Okay, and that's a straight up question. And you're right what you just said. It's okay. It's a great achievement becoming a #1.
Yeah.
It's a crazy achievement stay #1.
It's even harder. I think stay #1, it's harder because there's a lot of agents very savvy, skillful agents trying to, take their position off you.
Yeah.
Right. So to get there took a bit of a while, but to maintain it, it's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, let's break it down. So let's start first. How did you get there? I'm going to talk about as an agent.
Yeah.
Let's say someone listening and want to become #1.
Yeah.
And after we can talk about how do you stay #1.
Yeah.
So what was the step that you decide, I'm going to become a #1? What did you do?
Well, the first probably, let's go back a little bit further. First probably 3 years of my career when I first started real estate, obviously I had no experience, no database.
Yeah.
I wasn't working as part of the team. It was just me. I got thrown in the deep end. Here's your computer. Here's your business card. Go for gold.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I thought to myself, fuck, how do I get database? What do I do? No one's going to help me. And I've door knocked block of units for 3 years straight from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. at night. I was door knocking. I was getting kicked out of the buildings. I was getting chased by building managers. I was intercomming. Doesn't matter on the day. Hot, cold, raining, storming. I was door knocking where after 3 years, I had a database of about 500 owners. And I started to build from there, right? Because when I first started, everybody wanted to do fancy houses and terraces. Nobody really gave any fucks about apartments.
Yeah.
And I thought for me, that was the difference that, well, if you don't want the apartments, I'm going to take the apartments. And I concentrated purely, I sell a lot of apartments, right? I probably sell 60 to 70 apartments a year, too few to the townhouses and stuff like that. But my main focus is I'm an apartment specialist. So I made a decision, if nobody else wants to do the apartments, all the hard work, I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I door knocked every single day for 3-4 years. And it sort of started from there. And it started getting into doors, having great communication, building a relationship with clients. And 5-10 years later, I've got 2,000 people on my database in Rosebery. I call them gold clients. Yeah, people that actually want to hear from me.
Yeah.
And from there, it just kicked on.
From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Every single day, door knocking every day. Because usually people are traditionally at home between 5 and 8, 5:30 and 8. They're at home. You're bothering them. They're feeding the kids. They're having dinner, having a glass of wine. You're bothering them, right?
Yeah.
And if you can imagine, you're doing an intercomming. It's not like you've got face-to-face. It was a lot easier when you door knock a house.
Yeah.
It's all by intercoms. It was a lot of hard work, right? You get a lot of hang-ups and It was challenging, and
Yeah.
fuck, I thought I'd given up a few times, that's for sure. And
Right.
but I just pushed through. And probably my fifth year in real estate, I found some traction. I had some phone calls coming in. I was getting a lot more doors, and I was picking up a lot of listings in Rosebery. And from there, just built from there. And now, fuck, I sell 50 to 60, 70 apartments a year there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Rosebery went through a lot of developments of
Oh
big
yeah, it's changed.
blocks,
Yeah, it's Rosebery.
especially for the last 10
Yeah,
years.
no, absolutely. I've been selling there since 2007, and Rosebery used to be the sleepy town, right? There's nothing happening. There was just nothing around. You couldn't get a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
And in the last 10 years, the whole area has just been rejuvenated. A lot of warehouse converted apartments, a
Yes.
lot of cool little bars and restaurant cafes,
Yeah.
lots of parks and greenery. And let's not forget, Rosebery's only 5K to the city. Like you're
It
that
it is.
close. Like you're that
Yeah.
close to the city, right? So people forget that Rosebery's not that far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's
true.
incredible. It's such a good spot. I love it.
Yeah, because I personally live like next to it in Mascot at the moment, and I've been there for the last
Yeah.
5 years, and
Yeah.
I've seen like the changes just for the last 5
Massive,
years.
massive changes.
Crazy. Okay, so that was like what got you to number one, and what was the habit, your day-to-day schedule then? That you kind of like start to realize, okay, these are my dollar productive activity. I need to be office by this. I need to do this number of calls, and after I finish here, and I do door knocking after. What was your day-to-day schedule?
Well, exactly that, Perry. So basically for me, it was very, very simple. So during the morning, get in the office by 7:30 to 8, depending on my morning schedules. For me, it's all about doing buy work, follow up, the open homes in the morning, then do your pipeline, your
Yeah.
AAA sellers, AAA buyers. In the afternoon between 5 and 9 or 5 and 8, religiously door knocked.
So you say triple L?
So AAA buyers.
Yeah, like they're hot.
They're the
good.
hottest buyers right now, buyer sellers, my seller pipeline,
Yeah,
and just doing the general sort of day-to-day sort of activities.
yeah,
In the afternoon, for me, it was all about door knocking. For that,
Right.
as I said, for the first 5 years, it was religiously. There's no ifs or buts. Yeah, door knocking, because I wanted to ensure that every single year I was adding 300 to 500 owners to my database.
300 to 500 owners
To
in
the
your database
database.
per year.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. That's very good. And do you used to leave like flyers in case they don't answer?
Yeah,
or
we did all that, mate. I think we did letterbox drops. I think we still do that as agents.
Mm.
It's something that it's a passive marketing. It's something that we probably haven't stopped in years.
Right.
I don't think we ever will. So door knocking was the biggest part of my game. And I was at that time, I think it was Yellow Pages. They didn't have like API data or APM.
I love
I used
the
to call
Yellow
through
Pages.
the good old Yellow Pages. I used to just pull up a street, a suburb, and just
Yeah.
call through.
Okay.
Through, and that was it. We didn't have information like we do now.
Yeah.
Like to get honest details like ID for me and your
Yeah.
CoreLogic and price finders.
ID for me, yeah.
I didn't have that. It was all just about either your door knock or your call. So that's what it did for the first, as I said, 5 years or so.
Nice. Well, how many calls a day? Roughly, what was the target?
Probably about 80
80 calls a day.
at that time.
You still doing it?
Not 80. Right now, I've started in a position where I don't need to make those calls anymore.
Yeah, you established everybody knows you.
Yeah, look, for me, I've got a team. Dylan, who's my associate, he's probably sitting between 80 to 100 calls a day.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, religiously.
Yeah.
I probably tend to do between 40 to 50 calls a day.
Yeah.
But that's more so clients that I've built relationships over the years.
They know you.
They know me. I call them the gold clients. People that
Yeah.
if I pick up the phone, they know who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than, hey, sorry, who is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do 30 to 50 calls. I do probably 5 to 10 listing appraisals a week.
Yeah.
I do quite a lot of pop-ins still. Pop-ins, which simply means they're not thinking about selling,
Right.
but they're just curious to know the price. They're
Right.
curious to know the value of the property. So I do quite a lot of those as well.
Face to face.
Absolutely. Because if I'm not doing it, somebody else is.
Yeah.
Right. So I
Yeah.
want to make sure we build that relationship with the client.
Yeah. Okay, can you repeat that? So now per week, how many sales appraisal you do roughly as a target?
Probably about 15.
15 per week.
In a week? No, in a week, probably about 10.
10 in a week.
About 10 in a week.
Very good. And you sell around 60 to 70 apartments per year.
Correct. Well, last year we did 68 financial year.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get to 80 by this year.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mate, well done. That's amazing. Okay.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank
Nah,
you.
it's actually very good numbers. Okay, so let's go back. You born and bred in Sydney?
No, mate. I came to Australia when I was 12 years old.
Really?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the background?
From Ukraine.
What? Are you kidding?
No, not at all,
I
mate.
didn't know that.
Mate, came here when I was 12 years old. couldn't understand a single word. So that was tough.
Like me.
That was a
I get
challenge.
it.
Yeah, that was a challenge coming in here, 12-year-old kid, not knowing the ins and
Interesting.
outs. And and I'm just sort of bouncing around doing a lot of sales positions, worked at
Yeah.
Optus, Voda. So I always sort of worked in the sales industry, mainly doing telco for about 10 years.
Telco,
Yeah,
yes.
selling PABXs, digital lines, phones.
Yeah.
Had a spell at Optus shop at Broadway years ago. And but I've always been around telco before real
Nice.
estate. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you start working sell. And
Yeah,
what was the time and day that you decide, oh, real estate looks like an interesting career
I
for
never
me?
thought about real estate. In fact, my wife Diana, she said to me one day, she says, "Babe, why don't you do real estate?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything about real estate." So, well, they drive nice cars. That was the conversation we had.
How old were you when
Mate, I was 20. I was a late bloomer when I started real estate. I started at 27. You know,
27? Yeah.
a lot of agents usually start after school or after uni.
Yes.
I started at 27, so I reckon I was about 7, 9 years too late, right?
Yeah.
And my wife simply said, "Why don't you try real estate?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything about real estate, babe."
Yeah.
Well, they got nice cars. You know, they eat well, they dress well.
Yeah.
You're very good at what you do. Why don't you do real estate? And I go, "Fuck, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do it." Yeah, I've got the sales. I thought, I can do anything,
Yeah.
right? And so I had my first job, and it was surreal. It was fucking tough. Real estate, I found it super tough.
What agency did you start
I
with?
started a little small company. It's called Infinity Property Agents. They're based in
Infinity, yeah.
Alexandria. Michael gave me the opportunity, and
Still on?
they
Yeah.
still operate. I think
Yeah.
they do more like rentals now than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the hours that I was working, I was doing 6 days a week from 8 o'clock till 7 p.m. even on a Saturday. On a
Wow.
Saturday, my last phone call was at 7 p.m. So my life changed in terms of social.
Right.
Didn't have a social life anymore.
No.
That was my social. My real estate was my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the big adjustment. Took a massive pay cut.
Mm.
Right. I was earning at that time, probably 75, 80,000 a year at that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to real estate. I was
Yeah.
in 42,000 a year.
Wow.
Debit credit
Huh.
for 5 years. Massive change.
Yeah.
And I'm talking 2-minute noodles at times for dinner. Right.
Yeah.
Massive change. And I
Yeah.
wanted to quit a few times, honestly. Wanted to quit multiple times. And just lucky I had a support of my wife's. And she supported me, she guided me through, and she gave me the confidence that I can do it. That was the biggest thing for me.
So she was telling you, like, keep going. Yeah.
100%. 100%. She didn't mind eating 2-minute noodles. She didn't mind not going out every other weekend. She just said, "If this is what you want to do, I believe in you. Let's just give it a go." And we did. And 5 years later, things turned around for me. So
And now you're married, yeah?
I'm married, 2 kids, and having a great life, got a great
No doubt
team.
about it.
No, it's good. It's good.
Well
Life
done.
is good now. Life is good.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, so you work with this company for 5 years, hustling 8 to 7, Saturday included, and after that, what made you like, oh, I'm gonna work with someone else? What's
After that, I just felt that I think because I was working for a little a boutique agency,
yeah,
I just wanted to have more exposure.
Yeah.
So I went to a Ray White company years ago, and I just felt that Ray White, obviously, such
With
a
Charles?
massive brand. No, before I met Charles.
Ah,
This isn't before Charlie. Yeah, this and
big shout out to Charles too.
yeah,
a
he's a
big
legend,
name.
mate. One of the greatest. He's a goat. Yeah, and
He's a legend.
no, well before Ray White, well before Charlie went to Ray White, I wanted to establish myself as part of the franchise and
Yeah.
more of a well-known brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And I think from there, it gave me the confidence. Ray White itself, the brand, gave me the confidence that I could do better, be better, and I think from there, my business just elevated.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so the schedule now they got you to number 1 was 80 to 100 calls a day, door knocking from 5 to 8 p.m. because people are home, and that's where you start to build your database, and you try to get 3 to 500 contact
Yeah.
building from scratch,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And after that, after a few years, you become number 1 in Rosebery.
Yep, that was back in 2015.
10 years ago.
2015 when I think Rate My Agent first came out, because before that nobody's heard of him.
Yeah.
And that
yeah.
started calculating the agent's numbers,
Yeah.
transactions and reviews and what
Yeah.
have you. And in 2015, I've got an email from them saying, "You've been voted as number 1 agent in Rosebery," right? And I thought, didn't know they count that, right? And look at them now, Rate My Agent, they're huge, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, since 15, and I obviously try to maintain since
Yeah.
then.
Because I believe people they get to their level, stays at their level, there is something in the mindset.
Yeah.
Like yes, there is structure, a schedule, but there is something else which is, maybe is the competitive nature.
Yeah.
Or maybe is did you get coached by someone? Did you have like a mentor to guide you through? What's the
I didn't initially, and that's probably the biggest mistakes. I think if I was, talking to myself now from 15 years ago, I think I should have invested money into coaching and mentoring.
Mm,
I didn't. I have in the last 5 years. I had a
right?
mentor, had a business coach who just gave me the structure because we're good at what we do, right? We're good at listing and selling, but
Yeah,
how do we
yeah,
work on our structure? How to work on our time management skills? Because I was a little bit scattered,
yeah,
right? I did the business, I did the deals, but I thought that I could do more, right?
yeah,
And for me, time management, if you can manage your time well, you could just dominate your market, right?
yeah.
So yes, had a business coach for a couple of years, had a mentor, and now I'm in a situation where I'm sort of just flying and heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And in this time you had two kids.
Yes, I've got two girls. I've got Jasmine and Maya, 13 and a 10-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Did that impact because after you start to have kids,
Yes.
family, and become and stays number one real estate agent in Rosebery, yeah, take some skills. Okay, what would you say the initial challenges that you've had when you start to have kids and managing your performance
Mm.
to actually be stay number one?
Yeah. Good question. I think after having kids, Barry, for me, I think it changed me as a person overnight. It happens naturally. I think I've become from a boy to a man, if that sort of makes sense, because now
Right.
I'm responsible for someone else's life, not just yours.
Yeah.
So that gave me like a really, really rude awakening.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're a 29 to 30-year-old man, boy, essentially with no responsibilities as such,
Yeah.
to then being, caring for someone else, right?
Yeah.
So I changed instantly. My wife and I, we became a different persons. And that allowed me to really look at the world differently, look at
Mm.
respecting people, not taking things for granted, being a lot more patient, understanding. I think real estate is not just about listing and selling. It's all of those elements, right?
Yeah.
Patient, persistent. Sometimes you have a lack of sleep because your kids aren't sleeping well. You got to
Yeah.
get up 4 o'clock in the morning to feed them, right?
Yeah.
Shit goes down at work where deal doesn't happen. Do you stress
Yeah.
out or do you calm yourself? So I think becoming a father made me a bit more calm and a bit more collective, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, and that helped my business a lot.
Right. So more, yeah.
More
Instead of
grounded.
hustling, let's
Yes,
plan it
correct. It just
correctly.
made me grounded because working with a client, whether you're going through some challenges. I mean, you've got challenges at home, right?
Yeah.
But as a father, it just changes you. You just
Yeah.
you're a different person. As I said, you are a lot more responsive. You
Yeah.
are, and you can start figuring out where the problems are. How do you solve them? Whether it's at home or on the business side of things, there's still problems. Still
Yeah.
got to be solved, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. So there are often I meet people they tend to bring the problems at work.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. It's a bad habit.
very toxic habit. So for someone that may be struggling with that,
Yes,
okay, what
yes.
would you say is the tip that you said? All right, remove your emotion when you need to perform.
Yes,
Don't bring into your work and leave it
yes.
there. What,
It's
what do
hard.
you do?
It's very hard to do. I think before you trying to solve yourself in the office, I think you've got to work yourself at home. Sort that out first.
Oh, that's a good one. Can you repeat that, please?
So before you sort yourself out in the office,
Yeah,
sort yourself out at home.
yeah.
Because if home's good, work's great. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I love that.
Sometimes you can fake until you make it.
Yeah,
It's not going to last long.
yeah.
Fix yourself at home, whatever that may look like, whether it's financial problems or marriage problems or kids problems or speak to someone.
They all influence and affect.
Absolutely will, because if you're good at home,
Yeah,
you're great at work. Simple as that.
yeah. Tell me about. That's amazing. Nah, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome, mate.
Uh, Tell me about what do you do when you go home to actually because you need to have the time rest, the time with the kids,
The
the
switch,
time
the switch off
to
time. Yeah.
because if you don't rest enough, your brain is not very productive when you are on the phone or meeting clients. Like, what's tell me the schedule after when you go home. Now,
Yeah. So after I go home period, what I do now, probably in the last 2 years, I've changed where I'm trying to be present at home,
Yeah.
try to be focused, where even, 3, 4 years ago, I used to come home and, yes, I say hi to kids and the wife and what have you, but almost on my phone,
Mm,
right? So the emails, work, social media, it was just taking over your life and I hated it.
yeah.
But you, you just can't help you getting sucked into that, right?
Yes.
And probably the last few years ago, I said to myself, home time is home time. I want to be involved with my kids' life. I want to read the books. I want to do the homework. I want to see how my wife day was. So
Yeah.
for me, I come home, my phone I put my phone aside for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I dinner with my kids, with
Yeah.
my wifey. We talk school, the good, the bad, what happened.
Yeah.
And then when the kids go to bed about 9:30, I jump on my emails for about half an hour before bedtime, make sure everything's ticked off, and I'm in bed between 9:30 to 10.
Nice. And what time you
I
wake up
keep
in
it
the morning?
simple, about 5:30.
5:30
So
a.m.
5:30 in the morning, I get up, I jump on the treadmill for about half an hour
Yeah.
as I'm checking my emails at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's a double whammy, doing two
Yeah.
things in one go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the kids wake up, I take them to school, do a school run, have breakfast with them, and get to work about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock you're in
Yeah,
the in
yeah.
the
So I drop the
office.
kids off at school
Yeah.
and write down I'm in the office about 8 o'clock.
Okay. What's the first thing to do? You do as soon as you get to the office. You
So
say
we have
jump
a
on the
sales meeting for about 10:15
every morning.
every morning. We check in on each other day, activities, what to do, dollar productive things that I need to
Yeah.
do. What does Sophia do? What does Dylan do?
Yeah.
And it's for about 10 to 15-minute check-in, and then we go about our day.
Okay. Nice. And now, so you from Infinity, you went to Red White, and after, when did you join Charles Tuma? When did you decide? Was that
Charlie and I joined Charlie back in 2016.
9 years ago?
Yeah, Charlie was one of the directors of Bell Property in Surrey Hills.
Right.
Yeah, and joined Charlie there,
Yeah.
and we've sort of been almost together ever since.
Really?
It's like a business marriage almost, right? It's
Was
been
it you
that long.
just chat with each other and become friends and say, "Oh, let's get something together"?
Well, mate, yeah. So in 2016, I approached Charlie because obviously he was a dominant figure in that market, and I
Yes.
wanted to be a part of that.
Yes.
I wanted to learn from him,
Yeah.
and I said, "Give me a crack." Right?
Yeah.
I was already pretty successful in my current position,
Yeah.
but I felt I could be doing more.
Yeah.
So I rang Charlie, went for a coffee,
Yeah.
got along like a house on fire,
Yeah.
and he offered me a position.
Yeah.
And we've been sort of together ever since. There was a few different spells where I worked for different companies.
Yeah.
But back in 19, Charlie called me and said, Max, I'm doing Red White.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
And I just
Nice.
packed up my company. I go, see you later. Charlie, let's go.
9 years
And
later.
yeah. So we opened up the office in 2019.
Yeah.
There were 5 of us.
Yeah.
Now we've got 2 offices. There's about 45 of us.
Really?
So in 5 years,
So you have one in Surrey
we have
Hills?
one in Redfern,
In Redfern,
and we
yeah.
just joined joint venture together with Ray White Darlinghurst.
Very good.
So now we're 2 offices.
Nice.
We're a
Okay.
powerhouse now.
I know.
That's right.
45 people. Well done. That's amazing, mate. Well done. Okay. You became number one. What was the first reaction when you got number one? Like, oh, okay. Looks like I've got it. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm a number one now. I'm okay. I'm going to chill out
They
for a
get
bit.
comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, they get comfortable.
Happened?
Nah, not at all, mate. For me, it gave me that boost of confidence, that excitement, adrenaline rush. For me, it's like, wow, okay, what else can I do now, right? How do I maintain it?
Mm.
How do I ensure that it's not a one-hit wonder? I want to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm continuously better myself
Yeah.
and getting those records on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to ensure that it's not just the first time. I'm going to get it every single year.
Yeah.
And I did. And I have. Right?
Nice.
So for me, it was more so, okay, I've done, 40, 50 sales. I've got number one. What happens if I get to 60, 70 sales and 70 to 80? Can I maintain it? Can I then start getting market share in the surrounding suburbs in Waterloo, Zeth and Alexandria? How do I do that?
Yeah.
What's my plan? How to get
Yeah.
there? What are my roadmaps?
Yeah.
So that's that's how it all happened.
And that's impressive because you don't have 10 people in your team. Like
No.
you manage 1, 2,
3. There's 3 in my team.
three in your team.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
which is a lot of deals. Like, how do you? Because now, you've been doing consistently. You got the results. Say you are number one. You are a winner. And now,
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
no, they're just the numbers to say the fact. And now you need to teach the same thing, because I often see that someone who is very, very, very good is a killer. Often, I see in the past struggle to actually make themselves copyable to build a team.
Mm.
So, I mean, and
Yeah.
that's because, okay, now you know how to be a winner. You know how to do the job very well. Now you need to, there is another skill you need to learn, which is leadership.
Yes.
Okay. Is another thing you need to add on your, is a different part of the brain. So when do you start to realize that? And when do you start to, okay, I need someone else in my team now?
Yeah, so that probably happened when I was always doing probably between 35 to maybe 45 sales on my own.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about no EA, no sales associate, just me. And it was manageable. You know, I did it for
Yeah.
years, 40 to 50 deals every year for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, how do I level up?
Yeah.
How do I get to the next level when I'm doing 16, 70, 80 deals a year?
Yeah.
And I've spoken to Charles and Roger Wardy in the team and a few other mentors,
Yeah.
business coaches,
Yeah.
and just about everyone said, well, you need to hire someone. You need to hire someone. Everybody pushed me to hire a sales associate.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm going to hire EA. And I'll tell you why. I hate doing admin.
Yeah.
I'm not good at doing admin stuff.
Yeah.
Email, check-in, marketing, proofing. I've done it because I had no choice, but I
Yeah.
hated it, right?
Yeah.
What I'm good at is listing and selling properties. So
Yeah.
I've hired Sophia, right? She's my EA.
Hello, Sophia. She's
Hey,
here.
Sophia, she's right here. And
yeah.
yeah, I know. And when you can ask Sophie, when she first started, she's great. She works on Saturdays with me, right? There's not many EAs that actually work on
Wow.
Saturdays,
There you
right?
go. I should tell people. in
Yeah,
this
she
office
works
that you-
Saturdays for me, which is great. And we were at a time we were doing 10 to 12, 13, 14 open homes. We're doing like 15 open homes on a Saturday. So I did 8, she did 7 by herself. We were like this. And at that time I said, I need a junior sales assistant
Yeah.
to offload me from doing all of that stuff and concentrating purely on listing and selling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we hired Dylan last year.
Nice. How long have you been working together now?
So Dylan's been with me since June last year, so approaching nearly 12 months.
12 months.
Approaching. And
So a few years. No?
year and a half, give or take.
Last year.
Yep, so just over 12 months.
There you go.
Just
Very
over 12
good.
months. And we've last year we ended up with 68 sales,
Nice.
which is the biggest in my career. So it's an achievement for me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of deals,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of 10 to 12 hour work days. It doesn't come easy.
Right now.
He's 90 sales, and he's going to take us to Mexico.
Really?
No.
We're going to Mexico, actually.
Yeah, are you actually? Well, do you want to take Sophia
He's
with
here,
you?
let's
Yeah.
have a chat. We're going to go
Yeah.
together. Yeah,
Well,
they're
if you do-
taking the top
If we get
performers.
90 sales, we'll do something, 100%. I don't think it's going to be Mexico.
There you go. I'm going to give
Yeah.
you a call at the end of the year. I'm going to give you
It's definitely won't be Mexico. Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Mate, I love this. Sorry, a few more questions.
No, go for it.
And what I like is you keep enjoying what you do. I don't know, from outside.
Mate, I love it.
What I see, I see the stuff on social media you're putting. I saw you rapping.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
God.
tell me about... Maybe we're gonna put a video on there. I love that.
Yeah,
So
it's a bit embarrassing, but it was a lot of fun doing it though. Yeah.
okay, what's
fun
that? Sophia tried to say, "Oh, please do that."
No, not even. I think it was just a spare of a moment. We were just we're doing a little video in front of a signboard for a
Okay.
property we just sold. Right, we had a sold sticker and we were just doing the tail behind the sale, the usual case study.
Yeah.
And I was just in the mood to do something fun, so I started freestyling,
Yeah.
and she actually kept recording it, and she thought it was good. She
Yeah.
records everything. Yeah, she's a pest. And in a good way, yeah. And
Yeah.
and then she just kept recording, and a week later, there's 45,000 views and
Yeah.
on Instagram. It's crazy, and
No,
I'm not even a rapper, or nor am I claiming to be one. Yeah, just saying. Yeah,
Nice, mate. I love because after 15 years, you see like you're having a great time.
I
And,
love it.
you know,
I'm
you're
very competitive.
yeah,
So that's what drives me. It's not just doing the deals. It's just competitive nature.
yeah. Well, yeah. Few more questions. So, I believe there is a lot of consistency and a lot of discipline. And because you spend a lot of hours doing the same things after you're doing for 15 years, you need to find a way to have a great time.
Mm.
So my question is, what do you do to develop that discipline muscle, a consistency muscle, when you don't feel like and when things are not going your way? What do you do? Or how do you develop that? Because I believe that's the main challenge that people have.
Yeah, I think it's that sometimes we have good days, we have bad days, the good, the bad, and the uglies. I think for me, if I've got an off day, an off week, I'll take some time off.
You take some day off.
To recharge. You
Right.
just got to recharge. You just got to understand that we're all humans, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And you just got to take a few steps back in order to go one step forward.
How many weeks a year you take off? Roughly
Probably 4.
4 weeks a year. You take time off?
Yeah, 4. So last year I went to Europe for a month, which is great, with the family in July. Then usually we take a week or two off, maybe in October, school holidays, or April.
Nice.
So between 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. And now now I'm talking about Max Klimenko being number 1 for 10 years. What time do you leave the office? What time you say, I need to be home at that time, doesn't matter what, with my kids?
Yeah, good question. There are days that I work till 7, 8 o'clock at night if need be.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I love to clock off around 6.
6 o'clock.
If I don't have any listing presentations, if I'm not meeting with clients or
Yeah.
Zoom meetings, I like to duck off around 6.
Yeah.
And be home by sort of 6:30 the latest.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. Rosebery area.
Yes.
Okay, so now interest rate.
It's a place to be, mate. Place to be.
I know. I actually personally like. I go to the gym there. I do everything there.
I can sell you some properties, Barry. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, you're probably gonna be the
Yeah.
guy. What I wanted to ask you is because you've been operating day in and day out in that pocket for the last 18 years?
Yep.
You're always
Pretty
in
much.
that pocket.
Yeah.
And you've seen all the evolution
Oh,
of
yeah.
the area.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think so now we're doing this interview in February 2025. Okay. Where do you see the market is going in the next 6 months? Of course, nobody has the crystal ball
No,
here.
we don't. No.
But what's your opinion by keeping the finger on the pulse day in and day out? Where do you think is going?
Well, look, I think the rate cut was long anticipated. I think people are waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
It did last week. And we do predict there might be at least one more before the election coming up in May.
Yeah.
We're already seeing signs of improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, don't make a mistake. I don't think the market's pumping. It's not on fire.
Right.
But I do believe the worst has happened behind us now. Right? I do think the market will gradually rebound this year.
Yeah.
Depending how many rate cuts.
Yeah.
And I think once buyers will have the capacity to borrow more money, they're going to be competing for the property. So ultimately,
Yeah.
they're going to have to pay a little bit more money moving forward.
Right.
So I do believe right now, if you're watching there, if you're a buyer out there, try to get into the property market now, because if and when rates come down again, most likely they will,
Yeah.
you will be competing for the property and paying more money.
That was actually my next question. Like, what's your tip for buyers who want to buy? They're thinking like, oh, I should wait.
Yeah, I've seen it all before.
Yes, I hear on the phone every day.
Yeah, it's hard to catch the market, because if you're waiting for the market to correct itself, it's too late. You missed out. If you're waiting for the market to bottom out, if
Good
that
luck.
happens, it's too late. You've already missed out, right?
Yeah.
I think last year was a perfect opportunity to buy,
Yeah.
and we saw some great deals happening last year because, as you said, there were buyers sitting on the fence,
Yes.
and they're really savvy buyers that are actually buying in the market that nobody else wanted to buy,
Yeah.
and that's when you get into deals. Does that make
Nice.
sense?
So if you like something, just jump in.
Just jump in right now before the rates go up. It's all psychological. It may not even be financial.
Yeah.
One or two rate cuts, it's a couple $100 a quarter.
It
It's
is.
not a lot of money, depending on the loan amount.
It is.
The reality is, I think it's all psychological. You're waiting on social media,
Yeah.
these negative thoughts about the market conditions. The reality is, if you're looking at a property and it meets the brief and it ticks a lot of your boxes and you can afford it, why wait?
Yeah. Nice.
Why
Love
wait?
that. Nah, thank you for that.
You're welcome, mate.
One more. Okay, I got mate. You
You
talk
got millions
more.
of questions, eh?
Okay.
I'll give you 2 more. Go.
Yeah, thanks. The other one is, let's say, because now people look at you, but they haven't seen all the 18 years of hustling
Yeah.
that you had to go through in order for you to stay number one.
Yeah.
So, what's your tip for new real estate agents that are getting into the industry
Yep.
and they're going through the stages of, oh, I don't know, this is for me. oh my God, nobody want to talk to me. There is a lot of competition here. I don't know if I'm good enough.
Second guessing themselves.
Yes, and I believe you went through those stages.
Oh, bloody
then.
oath I did. Oh, mate, 100% for the first 5 years I did. I know exactly how they're feeling. One thing I'll say is speak to someone within the industry or even outside the industry. Speak to somebody who's gone through what you've gone through.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't compare your level 1 to someone's level 10. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah. Don't
speak
compare
to
yourself.
you can't
Yeah.
compare yourself. So
Yeah.
speak to your colleague in the office. Speak to somebody in your market that you'll maybe look up to,
Yeah.
somebody you admire, somebody you want to be like.
Yeah.
Speak to them. Go for a cup of coffee. Have
Yeah.
a Zoom conversation. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid. A lot of agents are afraid to bother other agents.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Make a
Yeah.
call. Look, you will get some no's,
Yeah.
but that's welcome to real estate, right? You're going to have rejections,
Yes.
but you'll get one closer to a yes.
Yeah.
And if you speak to one of the lead agents in the core market that will give you the time on a day, and a lot of them will, believe it or
Yeah.
not, you're going to get a lot of information out of it. And they'll
Yeah.
put your mind at ease and give you a roadmap
Yeah.
to success,
Nice.
right?
So yeah, leverage experienced people
Experience,
around.
whether it's within the office,
Yeah.
within the industry, within the network, or just
Yeah.
any other agency out there, somebody that you admire and see's got a lot of numbers on board, somebody who's experienced, somebody who's well known within the community,
Yeah.
go and talk to them.
Nice.
Take
Love
them out
that.
for a coffee.
Yeah.
It's trust me, it's $5 well spent.
Or a podcast interview. There you go.
That's exactly. Speak to Perry. Yeah.
No, nice, mate. Nice. Thank you for that. If someone want to come and work with you, what's the key attributes that you're looking for? Because you mentioned, and this is actually, I really like what you just say, connection. When I say connection, not just people work with you, but even with the clients. So, because a lot of people, they're like, they want to try to get as much business as possible. I believe everyone does in a certain way.
Of course. Yeah.
But you now are experienced enough that you don't feel connected with your clients. You already see the trouble that can come up in the future. That's why now you are a little bit more selective.
Correct.
That you can afford now with all of these years of experience. So now question number one is, what's the line that you work with someone, vendor I'm talking about? What is the line that say, no, I can't work with you, or I don't connect with you? And the other question is someone want to work with you in your team, what's the attribute you're looking for?
Okay, good question. I think they're fairly similar in terms of connections, because if you're going to have someone working in your team, there's got to be some sort of connection.
Yeah.
You've got to genuinely like the person that you're going to hire. Irrespective of whether he's got a uni degree or what background he's from, what religion, I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, well, I came from nothing, right?
Yeah.
So for me, connection has to be there within the assistant or with the client. You've got to genuinely like the person and believe that you've got the same goals, same understanding, right? And when I look at interviewing people in my team, I've got to genuinely like them.
Yeah.
They've got to like me, obviously, as well. It's important. It's a connection, right? And same thing with the client. Sometimes you just have to realize you can't get all the business and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can't get all the business because, that's not my person.
Right.
If it's not your person, there's a lot of other persons out there that want to work with you. Does that make sense?
So you wouldn't compromise your fees
energy.
on energy.
It's more energy for me. I think, I've been doing this for nearly 20 years now. It's all about energy, frequency. It's all about making sure that the client you're dealing with, you're on the same level. Does that make sense?
Vampires, huh?
100%.
I agree.
When I was young, I'll take on anything.
Yeah.
And you would.
No, mate. And actually, this is another question. So many questions.
That's all right, mate. Go for it.
This is for someone who struggled to build a team, because it's true. I can see now, just Sophia. You can see already. You guys are on the same page.
Yeah.
She's willing to go. You can see already. Look, so many comments you're getting, Sophia. What I'm trying to say is, if someone is looking to build a team, right now, but they can't find, or maybe they struggle to let it go. They want to do everything by themselves. They're perfectionists, especially the high performers.
Yes.
They have this mindset, no, let me do it. Oh my God, what are you doing? What's the tip would you give to them, to someone who is at the level that need to build a team?
Yeah, good question, Perry. Mate, it's hard. It's very, very hard to do. And I'm the sort of person, I'm analytical.
Yeah.
I'm a somewhat perfectionist. some people call me anal. But that's just the way, because I had it hard. I didn't have it easy for me.
Yeah.
So I had to learn it the hard way how to be good at what I do, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest giveaway I'll take is that you've got to let go to grow. You have to allow the person to make mistakes, because that's the only way they're going to learn from it.
Mm.
But you have to understand where there's a gap in your business. Where do you want somebody? Because you might find somebody who's actually better at something than you are as an agent.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
We can't be good at everything, right?
Yeah.
So if you can understand where you're lacking, where the gaps are within the business, let go that part of the business to the junior, because that can make it better for you, right?
Nice.
But it's hard to let go, particularly when you're doing this for such a long time.
Took you so much hard
Mate,
work.
it's hard. And I still sometimes, a lot of the times, I don't let go, but I have offloaded a few bits and pieces to the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but it's not easy. I feel it. I get it.
Nice.
I
Thank
get
you
it.
thank you for sharing that. Mate, and this is the final one.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the plan for the next 5-10 years? How do you see yourself? What's the plan with you, your team, Ray White? Where are you guys going? What's the plan?
No, it's a good question, mate. 5 years is a very long sort of plan. I think my short-term plan would be just consistently doing the numbers.
Yeah.
I think in order to get better, you've got to be better. I
Yeah.
think maybe personal growth, maybe a bit more, self-educational. It's always time to time good to maybe educate yourself.
Yeah.
We're always learning,
Yeah.
regardless whether you're in the game for 2 years or 20. We're always learning and trying to get better, right?
What are you reading? Or do you read much? Do you spend a lot of time?
I do a lot of podcasts. I'm more of a listener than a reader, to be honest with you.
Right.
I don't have the really good attention span for reading. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm more like in the car type of guy. Listen to podcasts. Yeah.
What do you listen?
I just all real estate stuff, man. I like John McGrath, obviously.
Yeah.
Love Josh Figan.
Yes. Me
Listen to
too.
his all the time.
Me
Bit of
too.
Tommy Panos. He's good if he
Tom
wants to.
Panos.
Tommy's loud and he hypes me up a little, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Just to sort
Nice.
of brush up and pick up a few things that you always got to learn something,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
Yeah, so for me, my goals are probably just trying to build a team,
Yeah.
whether I'd love to get to a stage where maybe I've got a team of 5 or 6,
Yeah.
where I'm dealing with a different type of clientele, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've got the team little soldiers, as we call them, within the
Yeah.
office, running around doing lots of business. So I want to ensure that we're dominating our marketplace. For me, the biggest thing for me is maintaining that spot in Rosebery, that market share, 20% at the moment. And I want to tap
Wow.
into, I'm
You're
sitting
20% of the market share in Rosebery.
just under. I'm sitting at about 18%. Massive. For one
It
person, it is. And mate,
is. It's
tough
a
work.
lot of.
It is tough work. And we want to tap into the sort of surrounding neighbouring offices, suburbs like your Roseberys, your Waterloos, Alexandrias and Zetland. There's a lot of agents out there.
Wow.
They're all hungry. So
Yeah.
in order for me to tap in and get a bit more market share in
Yeah.
those neighbouring offices, I need more people.
Yeah. What's your tip for someone, because you stayed number one agent for 10 years, for someone who's achieved good results by taking the foot out of the accelerator? And that these maybe can be comfortable, or maybe they. What's your tip to keep you? I know you mentioned self-improvement for that type of person. Like they've been in the game for long, but they're slowing down for the last few years.
Yeah, they get in a bit of a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, I would say.
Yeah, it's a good question. I've never been. I think you've always got to be in that uncomfortable zone. That's what drives me.
Stay uncomfortable.
You have to be. You've got to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, if that makes sense, right? Yeah, because otherwise you're pretty much at a stalemate, right?
Yeah.
You're not moving.
Keep yourself uncomfortable.
You have to be. You've
love
got to
that.
be uncomfortable. You've got to be comfortable with uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? And that could be different reasons. That could be maybe target different part of neighboring suburbs. Maybe you've got the market share there. Would it challenge you to get market share from a different suburb?
Yeah.
Would it be maybe hiring another person who's going to help to get you there? So, but it is hard. Once you get comfortable, it's very, very hard then to sort of come back up again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Correct. That's the biggest thing. That's what drives you.
What's the hardest day of your life?
Hardest day of my life? Gee, there's so many. Where do I start, right?
I got you.
Well, there's always good and the bads and the uglies and the hard. There's just, I mean, business-wise, probably where, things
Or
that
what has been in the past a day that you're like, well,
just challenges along, maybe, some tricky deals or tricky clients and a few sort of hurdles along the way.
you've been fucked over a few times. Then.
Yeah, plenty of times,
Me
mate.
too.
Plenty of times, and obviously you think about, the team, the family,
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. Want to make sure that you're always providing and always, lost a few deals along the way. It's just knowing how to bounce back up and, take a bit of a breather and say it's okay. You've lost 3 in a row. Let's get the next one, right?
Nice.
That's plenty of losses.
And I'm gonna leave you with the last question. What are you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? That's a good question.
Yeah.
What am I most proud of? I think that I'm proud of the team that I've built. I think even it's a short, we've been together for a year or so now. I'm
Yeah.
proud that we've achieved so much in a short period of time.
Yeah.
I'm proud that I didn't know how to manage a team, and I'm probably still don't know how to. I'm learning. It's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're gelling really well. So we're working as a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. And I'm just proud that of my wife's support over the years because she's put up with a lot of shit. She's put up, I've been absent a lot of times, with my kids and not seeing them
Yeah.
for birthday parties and for dinners, and
Yeah.
she was there every step of the way. So I'm proud that she's given me that opportunity to become what I've become, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mate, that was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Mate, thank you so much for coming in.
It's all right,
Appreciate
mate.
it.
No, thanks for having me.
This is general advice and does not take into account your objectives, situations, or needs. You should consider if this advice is suitable to you and your personal circumstances. Please read any applicable PDS beforehand.